G'day mates. Today we're diving into the wild world of Australia's most dangerous birds. These feathered creatures might look harmless, but don't be fooled. Down here in Aussie, even the birds pack a punch, and it's my job, Daniel Leonad's job, to show you just how incredible, and sometimes how downright dangerous these animals can be. We're not just talking about a peck on the head, we're talking about serious business, creatures that have evolved to survive and defend themselves in some of the toughest environments on Earth. So grab your car key, settle in, and get ready for an adventure. We're going to explore some of the most notorious avian Aussies, from the prehistoric powerhouses to the swooping speedsters that can give you a real fright. It's all about understanding these magnificent animals, respecting their space, and learning how to live alongside them. Because knowledge, my friends, is your best defense in the wild. And believe me, when you're dealing with some of these feathered dynamos, you'll want all the knowledge you can get. We'll look at their weapons, their warnings, and what makes them tick. So, get ready to meet some of the airborne legends of the land down under. We'll get up close and personal, from a safe distance of course, with birds that command respect and a wide berth. It's going to be a wild ride full of incredible facts, breathtaking beauty, and a healthy dose of danger. Let's go on an adventure with Daniel Leonad and uncover the secrets of Australia's most dangerous birds. You won't believe your eyes. Righto, first up on our list is an absolute living dinosaur, a bird that commands respect like no other, the southern cassowary. Look at this magnificent creature. They're big, they're bold, and they are, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the most dangerous birds on the planet. Native to the tropical rainforests of northeastern Australia and New Guinea, these birds are a sight to behold. But you've got to be incredibly careful around them. They're shy by nature, but if they feel threatened, or if you get too close to their chicks, hoo boy, you're in for a world of trouble. Just look at the sheer size of this fella. An adult cassowary can stand as tall as a human, sometimes up to 6 feet, and weigh in at over 130 pounds. That's nearly 60 kilograms. They've got this beautiful, glossy black plumage, a vibrant blue neck and head, and sometimes red wattles hanging down. And see that big bony crest on top of their head? That's called a casque. And scientists reckon they use it to help push through the dense undergrowth of the rainforest, or maybe even for communication, making low booming sounds. What a stunner. But it's not their fancy headgear or their stunning colors that make them dangerous, mates. Oh no, it's their legs, and more specifically their feet. Cassowaries have incredibly powerful legs, built for running through the forest at speeds up to 30 miles per hour, or 50 kilometers an hour, and on each foot, they've got 3 toes, but it's the inner toe you've got to watch out for. It's armed with a dagger-like claw that can be up to 5 inches or 12 centimeters long. Crikey, that's a weapon. When a cassowary attacks, it'll jump feet first and kick out with those powerful legs, slashing with those formidable claws. A single kick can cause horrific injuries, disemboweling animals or even humans. There have been documented cases, sadly, of cassowaries killing people, though it's rare and usually because the bird felt cornered or was being provoked. They're not out to get you, but they will defend themselves with everything they've got. They are the heavyweights of the bird world, no doubt about it. These incredible birds are primarily frugivores, meaning they mostly eat fruit. They play a super important role in the rainforest ecosystem by dispersing seeds from the fruits they eat. So they're not hunting you for food, but if you stumble into their territory or get between a mother and her chicks, that's when things can get dicey. They're fiercely territorial and incredibly protective parents. The male cassowary is actually the one who incubates the eggs and raises the chicks, and he's a very dedicated dad. You'll often see warning signs in cassowary territory, and for good reason. Be cassowary, they say, and you absolutely should be. Never approach a cassowary in the wild, never feed them, and always give them plenty of space. If you encounter one, back away slowly. Try to keep something like a tree or a backpack between you and the bird. And definitely don't turn your back and run, because they can outrun you easily. Their reputation as the world's most dangerous bird is well earned, not because they're malicious, but because they are so well equipped for defense. Think about it. Sharing your rainforest home with predators like pythons and dingoes, you'd want some serious protection too. These birds are a relic from a prehistoric age, and they carry that ancient power with them. They are truly a unique and awe-inspiring part of Australia's natural heritage. Sadly, like many magnificent creatures, the southern cassowary is facing threats. Habitat loss from deforestation is a big one, as is getting hit by cars as roads cut through their territory. Feral pigs can destroy their nests, and dog attacks are also a problem. Conservation efforts are underway to protect these amazing birds and their rainforest homes, because it would be an absolute tragedy to lose them. They are a keystone species, vital for the health of the rainforest. So when you think of dangerous birds, the cassowary should be right at the top of your mind. It's a stunning example of evolution, a bird that has developed incredible tools for survival. That casque, those powerful legs, and those lethal claws, it's a combination that demands our utmost respect. They're a reminder that beauty and danger can go hand in hand in the wild, and that some animals are best admired from a very, very safe distance. What a bird! The cassowary is a true icon of the Australian wilderness, a feathered giant that roams the ancient rainforests. They're a symbol of the wild, untamed spirit of this incredible continent. Understanding their power and their needs is crucial for coexisting with them. So, if you're ever lucky enough to be in cassowary country, keep your eyes peeled, be smart, and appreciate these magnificent creatures for the prehistoric powerhouses they are. Alright, now let's talk about a bird that might seem a bit more familiar to many Aussies, and one that causes a different kind of terror: the Australian magpie. These aren't your European magpies, oh no, these are a unique Aussie icon. They're incredibly intelligent birds, with a beautiful flute-like song that's a classic sound of the Australian bush and even our suburbs. For most of the year, they're wonderful neighbors, strutting about with confidence, looking for a tasty grub. But then comes spring, mates, and that's when a switch flips for some of these magpies. It's breeding season, and a small percentage of male magpies become fiercely protective of their nests and their precious little chicks. And that's when the infamous swooping season begins. Suddenly, your friendly neighborhood Maggie can turn into a dive-bombing menace, targeting anyone or anything it perceives as a threat to its young family. It's a uniquely Australian experience, and not always a pleasant one. Picture this. You're strolling through a park, riding your bike, or just walking down the street, minding your own business, and then, whack! Out of nowhere, a black and white blur comes silently from behind, sometimes delivering a sharp peck to the head or ear, or just giving you the fright of your life as it zooms past your face, clacking its beak aggressively. It's enough to make your heart jump into your throat. These swooping attacks are swift, silent, and often completely unexpected. The targets can be anyone. Walkers, joggers, cyclists are particularly common victims, perhaps because their speed is perceived as more threatening. Even kids playing in their own backyard aren't immune if there's a protective magpie dad nearby. While serious injuries are rare, they can happen. People have suffered cuts to the head and ears, and eye injuries are a real concern. More often, it's the shock and the fear that leaves a lasting impression. Nobody likes being attacked from above, so why do they do it? It's all about parental instinct. These male magpies are just trying to be good dads, protecting their vulnerable eggs and chicks from potential predators. In their eyes, anything that comes too close to the nest tree is a potential threat, and they'll launch a preemptive strike to drive it away. It's not malice, it's pure, unadulterated protective behavior. And you've got to admire their courage, taking on creatures many times their size. Over the years, Aussies have come up with all sorts of weird and wonderful ways to try and deter swooping magpies. You'll see cyclists with cable ties sticking up from their helmets like bizarre antennae, people drawing eyes on the back of their hats, or waving sticks in the air. Some folks even try to befriend their local magpies with offerings of food, hoping to get on their good side. Sometimes these methods work, sometimes they don't. Magpies are smart cookies. It's important to remember that not all magpies swoop. In fact, it's estimated that only about 10% of male magpies engage in this behavior, and they usually only do it for about 6 weeks while the chicks are in the nest. The rest of the year, they're generally peaceful and a delight to have around. They're known for their complex social lives and their incredible memory. They can remember human faces for years, so if you've been kind to a magpie, it'll likely remember you. The intensity of the swooping can vary too. Some magpies might just do a warning flyby, while others are relentless and will make physical contact. They often have a swooping zone around their nest tree, typically about 50 to 100 meters. If you can identify where the nest is, the best advice is simply to avoid that area during breeding season if possible. Local councils often put up warning signs in known swooping hotspots. These birds are a true Australian character. Their beautiful caroling song is a cherished sound, and their intelligence is remarkable. They can solve problems, and they form strong family bonds. The swooping behavior, while alarming, is just one facet of their complex lives. It's a dramatic display of their commitment to protecting their offspring, a testament to the power of nature's drive to survive and reproduce. So while the magpie might not have the deadly claws of a cassowary, it earns its place on our list of dangerous birds through sheer audacity and its unnerving ability to instill fear during swooping season. It's a reminder that even common backyard birds can pack a surprising punch when they're defending their families. Respect the magpie. Be aware during spring and maybe wear a funny hat. It might just save you a fright. Chapter 3. The Clever Corvid. Don't underestimate the raven. Now let's turn our attention to another incredibly intelligent bird, a member of the corvid family, the Australian raven. You might see these sleek blackbirds and think crow, but Australia has several species of ravens, and they are distinct characters in their own right. They're larger than crows, with impressive throat hackles that they fluff up when calling, and that iconic mournful cry that echoes across the landscape. They are seriously smart birds, and that intelligence can sometimes make them a bit formidable. Corvids, as a group, are renowned for their brains. They can solve complex problems, use tools in some species, and have fantastic memories. Australian ravens are no exception. You'll see them watching, learning, and adapting to their environment, whether it's the harsh outback or the bustling city. This intelligence is key to their survival, allowing them to exploit a wide range of food sources and outwit potential competitors or threats. They're always thinking, always observing. These ravens are often seen in pairs or small family groups, but sometimes they'll gather in larger flocks, especially if there's a good food source around. Their social structure is quite complex, and they communicate with each other using a variety of calls and postures. This ability to work together, even loosely, can make them appear quite imposing, especially if they decide they want something you've got, like your picnic lunch. Now, when we talk about dangerous in the context of the Australian raven, it's a bit different from the cassowary's raw power or the magpie's dive bombing. Ravens aren't typically known for unprovoked physical attacks on humans. However, their boldness, their intelligence, and their opportunistic nature can lead to situations where they might seem intimidating or cause a bit of trouble. They're not shy, that's for sure. Being clever scavengers and opportunists, Australian ravens are very good at finding food. This means they can be quite bold around humans, especially in areas where they've learned that people mean food. They might hang around picnic areas, outdoor cafes, or bins, waiting for a chance to snatch a dropped chip or an unattended sandwich. While a single raven might be easily shooed away, a group of them can be more persistent and a bit unnerving. Their intelligence also means they can be quite destructive if they put their minds to it. There have been reports of ravens damaging property, perhaps pecking at window seals, pulling out windscreen wipers, or raiding gardens. This isn't done out of malice, but more likely curiosity, play, or in search of food or nesting material. However, if it's your property they're dismantling, it can certainly feel like a targeted attack. The way they can work together is also something to consider. If a group of ravens decides to mob a perceived threat, like a cat or a bird of prey near their nest, they can be very effective and quite aggressive in their coordinated efforts. While they're unlikely to mob a human in the same way, a group of large, noisy blackbirds descending can be an unsettling experience, especially if you're near their nesting site during breeding season when they are more defensive. Their vocalizations too, while a classic sound of Australia, can sometimes add to their mystique and even feel a bit ominous. That long, drawn-out call, especially at dawn or dusk, can have an eerie quality. It's just them communicating, marking their territory, or calling to their mates, but it contributes to their powerful presence in the landscape. They definitely make their presence known. So, while you're unlikely to be physically harmed by an Australian raven in a direct attack, their intelligence, boldness, and ability to cooperate make them a bird to respect. They are masters of adaptation, thriving in diverse environments across the country. They watch us, they learn from us, and they're not afraid to take advantage of any opportunity we might provide. They are the thinkers of the bird world. Don't underestimate these clever corvids. They're a vital part of the ecosystem, playing roles as scavengers and even predators of small animals and insects. Their intelligence is a marvel of nature. So admire their smarts, be mindful of your snacks when they're around, and appreciate the Australian raven for the highly successful and fascinating bird that it is. They are a true survivor. Chapter 4. The Southern Boobook Silent Night Hunter. Alright, let's shift gears from the bright daylight to the shadows of the night. Because our next bird is a nocturnal hunter, Australia's smallest and most common owl, the Southern Boobook. You might hear its distinctive boo-book, or moorpork call echoing through the trees after dark, a sound that's synonymous with the Aussie bush at night. These little owls might look cute and fluffy, but don't let their size fool you. They are efficient predators with some serious weaponry. The Southern Boobook is a master of stealth. During the day, they're experts at camouflage, roosting silently in dense foliage, their mottled brown plumage blending in perfectly with the bark of trees. You could walk right past one and never even know it's there, watching you with those big, beautiful golden eyes. But when darkness falls, that's when the boobook comes alive. They are perfectly adapted for hunting in low-light conditions. Their senses are incredible. Those large, forward-facing eyes give them excellent binocular vision, perfect for judging distances to their prey in the gloom. And their hearing is exceptionally acute, able to detect the faintest rustle of a mouse in the leaf litter or the flutter of a moth's wings. They fly almost silently, thanks to specially adapted feathers that muffle the sound of their wing beats, allowing them to approach unsuspecting prey without a whisper. Now, what makes a small owl like the boobook potentially dangerous to humans? Well, like most wild animals, they're not looking for a fight with us. They primarily hunt insects, small mammals like mice, and small birds. However, if a boobook feels threatened, cornered, or if you get too close to its nest or its young, it will defend itself fiercely, and for a small bird it packs a surprising punch. Their weapons are their sharp talons and their strong hooked beak. Those talons are designed for snatching and gripping prey, and they are needle-sharp. If a boobook were to strike in defense, those talons could inflict some nasty puncture wounds and scratches. Their beak, though small, is powerful enough to dispatch their prey, and could also give a painful bite if they felt the need to defend themselves up close. A threatened boobook will often put on a defensive display. It might fluff up its feathers to appear larger, spread its wings, hiss and clack its beak. This is a clear warning. Stay away, I'm not afraid to take you on, and you should definitely heed that warning. Even a small determined owl defending its nest can be a formidable opponent, especially if it targets your face or eyes, which are vulnerable areas. While direct attacks on humans are rare, they can happen, particularly if someone unwittingly climbs too close to a nesting hollow or tries to handle a boobook. They are very protective parents. The female incubates the eggs, and both parents feed the young. Any perceived threat to their precious owlets will be met with a swift and courageous defense. Remember, these are wild animals with strong survival instincts. These little owls play an important role in controlling insect and rodent populations, so they're fantastic to have around. Their presence is a sign of a healthy ecosystem. Learning to appreciate them from a distance is key. If you're lucky enough to see one, or hear its call at night, enjoy the moment, but always give them their space, especially during breeding season. The Southern Boobook is a perfect example of how even smaller creatures in the Australian bush are perfectly adapted for their role and equipped to defend themselves. Their silent flight, keen senses and sharp talons make them incredible nocturnal hunters. They are a little bundle of feathered fury if provoked, a pint-sized predator that commands respect. So listen out for that boobook call next time you're out in the Aussie night. It's the sound of a skilled hunter on the prowl, a little guardian of the darkness. Admire their mystery, their beauty, and their wild spirit. But always remember that even the smallest owl has the tools to protect itself and its family. What a little ripper of a bird. Chapter 5. The Masked Lapwing Ground Patrol Peril, Crikey. Our final bird on this list of Aussie avian adventurers is one you might see strutting around in open grassy areas, often near water. The masked lapwing, also commonly known as the plover, or more specifically, the spur-winged plover. These birds are unmistakable with their bold black, white, and brown plumage, and those striking yellow fleshy wattles on their faces. But it's not just their looks that make them stand out. It's their incredibly aggressive nature when it comes to defending their nests. Masked lapwings are ground nesters. They lay their camouflaged eggs in a simple scrape on the ground, often in very exposed places like school ovals, parks, golf courses, and even car parks. This choice of real estate means their eggs and chicks are incredibly vulnerable to predators, including us humans if we're not careful where we step. And because of this vulnerability, these birds have evolved to be some of the most fearless and aggressive defenders in the bird world. Now, you might be wondering about the spur-winged part of their name. Well, hidden on the wrist of each wing, these birds have a sharp, bony spur, usually yellow or horn-colored. It's like they're carrying concealed weapons. And believe me, they are not afraid to use them. When a masked lapwing decides you're too close to its nest or its fluffy little chicks, it will launch a full-blown aerial assault. The attack is usually preceded by loud, incessant alarm calls, a very distinctive and somewhat grating kirk, kirk, kirk. If you hear that getting louder and more frantic, you're probably in the hot zone. Then they'll take to the air, dive bombing straight at you, often aiming for your head. They'll swoop low, screeching, and sometimes they'll even strike with those wing spurs or their feet. It can be a truly terrifying experience. These birds are absolutely fearless. They'll take on anything they perceive as a threat, regardless of size. Dogs, cats, foxes, birds of prey, and yes, even people, will all face the wrath of a protective lapwing parent. They show incredible bravery and determination when it comes to safeguarding their offspring. It's a powerful display of parental devotion, even if it means you're running for cover. Because they often nest in areas frequented by humans, encounters with aggressive masked lapwings are pretty common, especially during their breeding season, which can vary depending on the region, but is often from late winter through to spring or early summer. Many an Aussie kid has a story about being chased across a school oval by an angry plover. And those spurs, while not usually causing life-threatening injuries, can deliver a very painful whack and draw blood. The best way to deal with masked lapwings is to be aware of their presence and give them a wide berth, especially if you see them exhibiting agitated behavior or hear those alarm calls. If you know there's a nest in an area, try to avoid it altogether until the chicks are grown and have moved on. If you do get swooped, try to protect your head and face and move away calmly but quickly. Waving your arms around can sometimes make them more agitated. Despite their aggressive defense, these birds are fascinating. The chicks are precocial, meaning they can walk and feed themselves almost as soon as they hatch. They look like little balls of fluff on stilts. The parents are incredibly vigilant, constantly watching for danger and leading their young to food. It's this intense parental care that fuels their defensive fury. They're just trying to ensure their babies survive. So, the masked lapwing, or plover, earns its spot on our list not because it's a massive bird with deadly claws, but because of its sheer audacity, its surprising weaponry in those wing spurs, and its relentless, fearless defense of its young. They are a common sight in many parts of Australia, and a reminder that even familiar birds can have a wild and dangerous side when pushed. Next time you see a masked lapwing strutting about, admire its striking appearance and its bold attitude. But if you hear that warning call, or see it eyeing you up with that intense stare, it's best to give it some space. These ground patrolling guardians are serious about their job, and they've got the spurs to prove it. What a little warrior. Chapter 6. Stay safe out there, wildlife warriors. So there you have it, mates. Next time you're in the land down under, keep an eye out for these dangerous birds. From the mighty cassowary with its dagger claws to the feisty magpie protecting its young, the clever raven, the silent boobook owl, and the absolutely fearless masked lapwing, Australia's birds are full of surprises. They're a testament to the incredible diversity and power of nature, and each one plays a vital role in this unique ecosystem. Remember, these animals aren't out to get you. They're usually just defending themselves, their territory, or their precious young. Understanding their behavior and respecting their space is the key to coexisting peacefully and safely. Here with me, Daniel Leonard, we believe that education is the most powerful tool for conservation and for keeping both humans and wildlife safe. The more you know about these incredible creatures, the more you can appreciate their beauty, their adaptations, and yes, even their dangerous side, from a safe and respectful distance. Australia is a land of wonders, and its bird life is no exception. So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep loving wildlife. Be a true wildlife warrior. Always be aware of your surroundings when you're out in nature, and give these amazing birds the respect they deserve. Thanks for joining me, Daniel Leonard, on this adventure into the world of Australia's most dangerous birds. Stay safe, and we'll see you for the next wild ride. Woohoo!